Hey everyone, today I'm excited to give you my spoiler-free review for Disney's latest reimagining, retelling, live-action movie, Cruella. Now, this comes to theaters as well as Disney Plus with premiere access this weekend on May 28th. And, you guys are going to want to see this on the biggest screen possible. Trust me. Let's talk about it. But before we do, if this is your first time here, I'd love it if you take 1 second, hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoy the content, go ahead and hit that notification bell. All right, let's talk about Cruella. Hey, Tessa from Mama's Geeky here. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel. There is so much to love about Disney's Cruella. I mean, from the incredible costumes to the fire soundtrack to the amazing acting by every single person involved to the production, like the set designs. Every last detail in this movie is perfect. And you might go into it thinking 2 hours and 15 minutes, that is way too long. And honestly, that is pretty much my only complaint about this movie is, yeah, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes long. However, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes long, but you're not sitting there bored out of your mind. The pacing isn't really off, you know? It doesn't really drag. There's maybe a few moments I would say, okay, they could have probably cut that down, but I really enjoyed watching it happen. So, I'm not going to complain about 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's not one of those movies where you're checking your watch constantly, like, is this thing over? It's nothing like that. It actually flows really, really well. Now, let's talk about Emma Stone real quick. Emma Stone. Emma Stone! Oh my gosh, is she absolutely perfect for this role. Listen, I was excited about her casting anyways, but after watching this movie, wow, she crushes it as Cruella. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Listen, she's acting circles around Glenn Close. And I love Glenn Close, and I love Glenn Close as Cruella, but oh my goodness, is Emma Stone so good at capturing this younger version of her. Now, the director has said, the creative team behind Cruella has said, this is the same Cruella. During the press junket, they said they already know where this Cruella goes, right? This Cruella becomes Glenn Close in the future. So they are the same Cruella. And Emma Stone does a great job of capturing that, but also giving her this younger vibe to her. And I'm telling you, she's so great. So again, with the movie being long, what I want to talk about here is Emma Stone. She is so good at being Estella and Cruella, right? They're the same person, sort of. They're in the same body, but there is a big difference between Estella and Cruella, okay? Estella is her name, but her mother used to say to her, you know, you're not Cruella, you're Estella, if she was being mean. So that is where you kind of got these two personalities from, Estella and Cruella. And that's not a spoiler, don't worry guys, that happens in about the first 5 minutes of the movie. That conversation is had, maybe even less than 5 minutes. So the beginning of the movie, the first half, you might get to a point where you feel like, oh, I think this is wrapping up. Because that happened to me. It happened with several people I talked to who have seen the movie. And you kind of feel like it's coming to an end. But really, Estella's arc, more or less, is coming to an end. And then you're getting into the part of more of Cruella. And I think that is why the movie works so well being so long. It really is almost like a two-parter, but they're giving it to you all together so you don't have to wait, which I can totally appreciate. Now, let's talk about Emma Thompson. Oh my gosh, is she fantastic in this. I love the addition of the Baroness into Cruella's story. I love everything surrounding her. It's really hard to not talk spoilers because there's some very spoilery moments that are very amazing when it comes to Emma Thompson. So I really obviously can't talk about that, but let's just say she is just fantastic. These two Emmas on screen together, just their chemistry and maybe their conflict a little bit when they have it. I mean, they're dueling fashion designers, right? They're both fashion designers, and they both want to be better than the other one, which creates so much incredible fashion to look at. I mean, you just take a look at the stills and you can tell that this thing is gorgeous. But there are so many dresses that are just out of this world. There's so much I want to talk about. There's one scene with a dumpster, which is just incredible. It's a literal dumpster dress. And it is so amazing, but all of the fashion is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. There's a few twists and turns in the story too, to keep you on your toes, keep viewers on their toes. There's some things I figured out, there's some things I didn't figure out, and I was completely blown away. Like literal gasps while I'm watching the movie going, what? I can't listen, there's such a great vibe to this movie too. I mean, you're dealing with like punk rock London in the 70s. So not only do you have these incredible costumes and these incredible set designs, you also have like the most amazing soundtrack I've ever heard. It's every time a new song started, I would start dancing and singing along, and I was like, this is so good. I wanted the soundtrack immediately. I have literally put on the screener for this just so that I can hear the soundtrack. It's so good. I mean, and Craig Gillespie, the director, talked about how he would actually play music on set to get people kind of pumped up and into the mood. And wow, it's just, listen, the soundtrack is absolute perfection. And trust me, that's another reason why you kind of want to see it on the big screen if you can, if theaters are open near you and you feel safe, because I know I'm going to, just because I can't wait to hear that soundtrack in an incredible sound system in a theater. I mean, let's also talk about, oh my gosh, okay, Jasper and Horace are just absolutely perfect. Exactly what I would have wanted in them as characters from the 101 Dalmatians. I thought they were great. They provide a lot of the comedic relief, but also Jasper's kind of the heart. He's kind of the heart of this movie, which I really love too. I love the trio there, right? Between Jasper and Horace and Cruella. And then, of course, you also have Artie coming in, played by John McCrae, who I actually got to interview. Check out that video if you haven't already. It's on my channel. But he's fantastic as well, stealing every scene that he's in. He's just so good and such an incredible, like, to the point where, listen, the director added a scene into the movie a year after they were done filming, because he said he brought so much to Artie and he just felt like the movie needed a little bit more of him. So, and I wish we got a lot more of him. And hey, I would love to see him in the future as well. Just so much about this movie was fantastic. The nods to 101 Dalmatians. There's little nods to 101 Dalmatians, you know? I mean, Roger and Anita are in the movie. It's so crazy because it's just so exciting to see all these little things. It's like they took this very dark villain and just made her even darker and grittier. I mean, this movie is dark, especially for a Disney movie. It's still okay for kids. It really is. I mean, my kids are 8 and 9 and they love it. It's like their new favorite movie. But it does go dark. I'm surprised Disney went that dark, but I'm glad they did because it really, really works. And especially with Cruella. I mean, there's so much to love about this movie. I feel like I could ramble on and on and on, but I've rambled on probably far too long already. So those of you who have stuck with me and are still listening to this, thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, the movie is absolutely fantastic. I give it a 4.5 out of 5. And really the only issue I have with it is that it is quite long. There's maybe a few little tidbit moments that are kind of like, yeah, okay, it went on long enough. I could have had less of it, but it's still fantastic. I mean, you've got incredible makeup. You've got incredible production design. There's so many moments that you just want to get up and dance because the music is incredible. The acting is phenomenal. Every single actor in this movie does an amazing, amazing job. I mean, some of the CGI, I guess, is a little, it's not too bad. There's not a whole ton of CGI, okay? It's mostly in the dogs, and they actually joked, Emma Stone joked that they had to do that because they were such nice dogs. They had to make them look mean. But other than that, there's really no CGI. There's like 1 or 2 moments that's a little iffy, but it's nothing that's going to take you completely out of the movie. Don't worry. So Disney's Cruella comes to theaters as well as Disney Plus with Premier Access. I say it is worth the $30 over and over again. But do yourself a favor and see this thing on the biggest screen possible. It just begs to be seen on the big screen. I'm sure you guys are going to love it. If you've already seen Cruella by the time you get to this review, let me know what you think down below in the comments. Be sure to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. You can follow me over on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at Mama's Geeky over there. MAMASGEEKY, as well as Real Tessa Smith. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this, guys. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much to all of my monetary supporters, my members here on YouTube, as well as my patrons. If you haven't joined yet, please consider doing so. We have some really awesome perks, including a monthly Zoom meeting where we get to talk face to face. Thank you again to everyone who supports me.